I remember when it was $521, and you were telling people that gold would double within 5 years, and it's over double. We have a caller out there, an area code 850-424. Your phone has opened up. We've got another caller, two callers waiting in the bridge. So 850-424. You're online with Mr. Bob Chapman.
Hello, Mr. Chapman. I was kind of watching CNBC today and watching everything unfold. And while I was watching the news coverage and the stock ticker and everything, it seemed like that the Dow started really losing when they were showing live images in Athens of Greek cops clubbing the protesters. And I don't know if there's a link to that or not, but I just thought it was unusual that, you know, the market was dropping like a stone, and the images on CNBC were cops, you know, beating up protesters in Athens. You know, and now they're on the air talking about a trading error at a major firm caused the plunge, but you know, I don't buy it. I think the government's just trying to cover up, you know, the true downside that just occurred today, and just wanted your opinion on that.
Well, they were in the market trying to keep it up, and they weren't successful. They couldn't even stop gold today. And as I said very often, they're on the run. It's not the government, it's the people who control the government. The Illuminati, the Bilderbergers, the Council on Foreign Relations, the Trilateral Commission. These are the people who run things. And that's why you never get any change. Team A replaces Team B. They all belong to the same groups, and they all want world government. And they're responsible for the destruction of the world economy, as well as the world's financial structure, which is in that process right now. And so this just didn't happen. It was done deliberately, and now Greece has turned everything upside down. They didn't expect that. And we may have one nation after another going bankrupt. You know, today Greece, yesterday Iceland, tomorrow Romania, the following day Ireland, and then Spain and Italy and Ukraine, and on and on and on. And that's the worst possible thing that can happen to them, because they lose control. We don't want them to have control. So it's working out just fine, because everything's going down anyway. So get used to it. Things are going to get really nasty financially and economically. And you're seeing these false flag operations. This is what this BP thing was, a distraction. Stop looking at all of the problems in the world of financial and economic, and watch the oil flow go down through the Gulf and up the Atlantic coast and destroy 50% of the fishing in the United States.
Yeah,
or have
I actually live on the coast here in Florida, and you know, it hasn't hit our area yet, but I'm kind of in the Panhandle, about an hour east of Pensacola, and you know, as soon as it started hitting the mainstream news, I started being very skeptical about, you know, if that really just blew up, or if something kind of fishy was going on. I think some of the people around in my area are starting to wake up a little bit, and of course we're all irate about it.
Well, you know, they had this obvious bumbling idiot who supposedly was trying to blow up a vehicle in Times Square. I don't believe that. Because the government lies about everything unless they can prove that he was acting with some group in Pakistan that were a bunch of bad guys. I don't believe it. It's just another distraction, and you're going to see lots of them. And as time goes on and they don't affect things, those distractions will get larger. Like blow this up and blow that up, have a war with Iran, whatever. This is all in your future.
Guess we all better be prepared.
Dehydrated and freeze-dried foods, a water filter, a method of defending yourself, and the extra assets you've got you don't need that are investment funds, you use them to buy gold and silver coins and shares. And it's as simple as that.
Absolutely. Well, I'd like to thank you for your time, and I listen to you all the time, and I really appreciate the good work, and again, just thanks for everything.
Well, thank you, and we appreciate all you people listening and making this the #1 program on Blog Talk, and it's been an exciting 5 years or so for Drew, and he's proved that he can do it and do it properly.
We thank you for the call. We thank you for the call there, caller. And we've got another call here. I'm assuming this next caller is from Colorado. Colorado, Al, you're now on the line.
Yes, Bob, this nearly $150 billion. Are the Greeks going to take it and pay off their debt and then go back into debt? Because I was told that they may use it to pay their debt off, but because they're a socialist country, they'll start spending again. Is that true?
Probably.
So in other words, the 146 or 150 plus, roughly 150 billion euros is going to be used to pay it off. But if these people are going to go back into debt, why give them the money in the first place? Let them go under. Shouldn't that be the way it should be?
That's what I told them to do.
So in other words, we're going to throw 146 billion or 150 billion at the Greeks. They're going to pay off their debt and go right back and start spending again. And I say let them go under, like all the banks and J.P. Morgan and AIG and Chase and all the rest, correct?
That's what I told them to do. No matter which way you cut it, you're screwed. And so why pay the bankers back?
Well, the American taxpayer is going to get hit with another $20 billion in taxes. And now I see that the Fed, Mr. Bernanke, is very vociferously fighting this audit. And I think he needs to go to jail tomorrow, don't you?
Absolutely. Without question. They're just white-collar criminals. It's
what are they going to do? What are they going to do, Bob? Run the presses until a gallon of gas is $150 U.S.? Or is it going to be $500 U.S.?
Probably they don't care. They think they're the masters of the universe.
As Drew said, it's time for everybody to say, sir, no, sir, isn't it, Drew?
Yes, sir.
God bless and keep up the good work, both of you. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Anything you want to add on either one of those comments, Mr. Chapman?
No, I think he covered it.
I have another question here from the chat room here. If we could get it back up on the screen without losing anything, it's just there's just so much coming at us. Mr. Chapman, the oil gusher in the Gulf seems to be worse than we can possibly imagine. How will this affect the oil prices and the stock economy?
Well, I don't think it's going to do much to the oil prices. It's one well with. Or one situation with 3 or 4 wells or whatever it is, and in the scheme of things, it's bad, but it's not going to affect prices. And if you noticed, oil went down from 86 to, or let me see where it closed today here. It's been down every day for the last 4 or 5 days. Oil closed to 76, 77 off 320. So it's having the opposite effect.
And this one comes from Munich, Germany. Mr. Chapman, do you think the IMF is about to buckle?
No, because it's a creature of the U.S. government, and if they need money, the Federal Reserve will create the money and give it to the Treasury, and the Treasury will give it to the IMF, and that's the way it'll work. Don't forget there's, I think, 144 members, or there's a lot of members in the IMF. And they can all print money. They just print it. That's why we're going to have higher inflation. That's the way they've always handled things, and that's the way they're going to continue to do it.
Hey guys, if those of you in the Marine Corps chat room, put your questions. You're chatting so much. You put your questions in all caps so I can find them. I can't go by and look at all that 8-point type you're putting in there. It just drives me up a tree. one of the questions you guys put in there was, Mr. Chapman, China may rescue banks if property prices drop. Do you feel that, the same as Bloomberg reports, that China may be forced to bail out many of its banks in the United States where properties are financed, and they're backing such loans?
Well, China will have to bail out all their banks. Most all of them are government-owned, and so they're going to have to do that. China's going to have inflation. Their economy is going to slow down. They're going to have the same problem as everybody else has. And as world imports from China fall, it's going to further affect the economy.